What is going on, guys? This is Ben here. Hopefully you all are doing well. Today we are going to be going over the Brawler Jessie, giving you a lot of strategy and tips to hopefully allow you guys to push up further and maybe get that 500 trophies. But before we do that, I do want to say shout out to everyone and thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. It is coming to the end of 2018 and it makes me so excited for 2019 to see where we're headed. So thank you guys so much for the support. I hope you have been enjoying the videos. If you guys enjoy the strategy videos like this on like Brawlers, game modes, whatever, definitely leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into Hot to Jessie here. So Jessie is a long-range brawler, and she has a very unique main attack, and she's overall a very good like control style brawler in combination with her super, which is a turret. But her HP is the same as Spike, Tara, and Leon. So she's not like the weakest or lowest HP of brawler. She's like one tier up above that, so she has a little bit more health than the likes of like Crow, Spike, and all them, but she is on the weaker side for HP as well. So for her main attack, she fires these electric orbs that when they hit like a building or a brawler, they bounce off and deal some damage, and then they can bounce up to 3 times, and they're always going to do the same amount of damage. So at max level, they will deal 1,148. So she will 3-shot or 3 bounce, I guess we can say, in this combination, because those bounce shots deal the same amount of damage. So maybe 2 bounces they get hit by her in 1 main attack, or 2 main attacks and 1 bounce. She will destroy all 5 of the squishy brawlers, which are Barley, Ricochet, Piper, Spike, and Crow, which is pretty nice. So just keep that in the back of your mind. She's going to decimate that. So yeah, her main attack is very good on maps where brawlers tend to group up. Maybe there's like a lot of choke points on the map where a lot of brawlers tend to walk, or it's just like for whatever reason, if the enemy team is grouping up a lot, her super is going to dominate, because those bounces travel quick and they are somewhat tricky to dodge, because when she hits a brawler, it's going to go to the nearest enemy brawler's teammate, and a lot of times it's very useful. Like, say there's a brawler that backs off because they're low HP and they go behind a wall maybe and they're trying to heal up, and say their teammate walks close to them but they're in open range and you can hit them. If you hit that brawler, that bounce shot is going to go to that weak teammate if they're close, and either they might not have a whole lot of time to dodge it, but if it hits them, it's either it might take them out, it's going to stop the regen, and they're going to have to wait even longer. So it is very, very useful, her main attack. It does travel a little slow, though, and her reload time isn't the fastest. The last balance change, she did receive a buff to how fast she does reload her shots, but you want to be very picky about when you shoot. You just don't want to spam all of your shots. You kind of want to just line it up. Do not really auto aim when you're at a distance, because it's gonna be horrible. Her auto aiming at far range is awful, like, because her main attack is very slow moving and it's very easy to dodge. So you want to either lead your shot, or if you know a brawler's chilling or whatever, you want to try and hit them and just, I don't know, maybe aim to the left of them and the back of them, so if they strafe, you have a good shot of hitting them. But you want to be selective and try and shoot at brawlers that are really grouped up, or right off the start, like especially in Brawl Ball. You guys know on a lot of the maps, like, you can clearly see all 3 of the teammates and they might run straight towards the ball. It's just gonna bounce like crazy. Or say there's a big pile of gems on the map and a lot of the enemy teammates are running right towards it. You launch your shots, just hit one of them, and it's gonna bounce like crazy, and it can bounce up to 3 times, which is key. So aim for those grouped up brawlers. She's good on the maps that they're choke pointed in. We will get on the modes and stuff that I think she's best in, but that's what's really good about her main attack. So her super is what makes her like a very controlling brawler, and that is her turret. Her turret has a lot of HP. It's tough to take out. At max level, I think it has like 3,920 damage, and it never has to reload. It's constantly going to shoot those shots when the brawlers are in range, and it has a pretty decent range. So you want to typically throw this turret in a spot where it's difficult for your enemies to just line up shots and hit it, or you want to throw it like in a spot where you can protect it, or like there's other options as well where maybe you're running away and a brawler shooting at you, maybe like Colt with his main attack, and you need to protect yourself. You can throw down your turret basically behind you to save some shots. Or there's another use, this kind of goes in when you have your star power. I guess I'll talk about that more when we have our well, actually let's go over the star power now. So our star power is really nice because it's one of the best in the game. You can actually shoot that turret with your main attack and it's going to heal it up, and that's what's really, really key. You can just spam your shots onto the turret and heal it up, and the enemies are trying to take care of it, and they're gonna have a tough time, especially if it's just like one brawler trying to focus it down. And another thing too, when you hit your turret, and you have the star power, those shots are also going to bounce out. So another thing that I was talking about is like, say like a Primo or Shelly or any of those brawlers, just any brawler in general, is like kind of like got right on top of you and you might die. Throw that turret right down on top of you and just shoot your turret, because like they maybe be auto aim onto the turret, or it might protect you a little bit, or they're dealing damage to it. But if you shoot your like shots onto that turret, it's gonna bounce off and still hit that brawler while keeping your turret alive, and then your turret is also going to deal a lot of damage. That's like one of my favorite plays with her. I did kind of go over the star power a little bit there, but I want to go a little bit more in depth on it. Like, if nothing is going on and you're kind of fully reloaded and you have a bunch of shots and your turret's kind of weak and you have the star power, just fire some shots at it, heal it up, top off that turret, make it very annoying to deal with. And then if you notice like enemy brawlers are kind of in a safe spot but they're able to hit your turret, just to like throw them off, just keep shooting your turret. Now I will say you typically do not want to auto aim when you're trying to hit your turret or when brawlers are near, because a lot of times it's your shot. You may be thinking, oh, I want it to hit my turret and bounce and hit the brawler, but in return what's going to happen is your auto aim is just going to go straight towards the enemy brawler. So you don't really want to, like I said earlier, you mainly want to manual aim with her and be selective. But if someone's trying to burn down your turret, just kind of like shoot it and keep it alive, because it's going to be a very annoying thing for them to deal with. Now I want to go over when I think auto aim is appropriate. Obviously, like I'd say this is pretty similar for like all the brawlers in general. It's like when an enemy brawler is like right on top of you and you're just trying to get as much damage out as possible, maybe before you die, or they're weak and you want to try and burst them down, it's just spam those shots off and just be good to go. But now when you're a little bit further, spamming that auto aim, it's not going to be very effective. As we stated earlier, like those shots are pretty slow. So far range to mid range, that's when the manual aim, and you should do it. When it's closer and they're right on top of you and you want to get those shots out fast, that's just like in general with any brawler at the moment, you want to probably go with that route. Now I do want to go over the best game modes for her. I think right now her best game mode for sure is Brawl Ball, because Brawl Ball, obviously brawlers are trying to come to your side and get to the goal, and this is where her controls part is really good, because you can throw on that turret and it's going to totally stop a brawler with maybe the ball or just the enemy team in general going that way sometimes. Or she's really good right off the start as well, because in the gameplay that you're probably seeing right now on this specific map too, like you can see the enemies right away and her shot almost hits them from the beginning. And a lot of times they do grow, like they do, sorry, I got confused with the text message there. They do group up a lot, and those bounce shots, like if you hit one of the enemies right off the start, it's almost guaranteed it's gonna hit another one with the bounce shot. And if they even group up even more, it's very, very nice. And she's like, this is why I feel like she's very good in the sense of Brawl Ball. The one downside I would say with her in Brawl Ball is you want to have teammates then, because she doesn't break walls at all. And with Brawl Ball, I feel like it's key to have at least one brawler that is able to like maybe open up the goal in front. So you maybe want to pair that with a Jessie with like a Primo, or maybe a Frank, or even a Shelly, just because she is good. But if like you're using her as like the long range control brawler, you're going to need something to pair with her that can like open up the map, if that makes any sense. I do think she is good in gem grab as well, mainly as a gem carrier. Sometimes with the right comp she can be used as like a laner, or pair her with like a Nita, where there's two like spawnable objects that are very tough to deal with. Like sometimes it's so annoying, like if you have a Nita and a Jessie on the team, dealing with a turret and a bear, oh my gosh. Or even like a Penny sometimes too, or a Pam. Like when there's a lot of spawnable items on the map, sometimes it just gets a little bit too much, and it's difficult, especially if the enemy team doesn't really have a good way to take care of those, like some brawlers to just destroy those turrets and stuff. But I mainly use her as a gem carrier, but I feel like she's like the third or fourth best gem carrier, because I think Pam is number one as gem carrier. Number two, I like to put Penny in the spot on a lot of the maps, just because her like basically her mortar, her mortar is so good. Poco is very good as well, but I put Jessie kind of below all of them. So unless like you don't want to push those three as a gem carrier, that's where I would throw in or slide in Jessie in if you're trying to push her up as the gem carrier. And like I said, you may find success trying to pair her with others, like maybe you still have like a Pam or a Poco and you pair Jessie with like a Nita or something. That could be very deadly as well. Just kind of play around with it. The gem carrier though, on gem grab, that's what makes her okay. And a lot of times a lot of brawlers group up on gem grab too, and that's why she's very good when a lot of brawlers tend to group up. Now for Showdown, I personally do not think she is that great. Early on, honestly, like from like 0 trophies to like 150 or 200 she can, but I generally stayed away from her. There's not really a time where I'm like, oh, this is a Jessie map for Showdown, because she's not the greatest in close range engagements, especially versus like if there's like you have to like maybe face check or brush, or only, I would say never face check or brush, but you know, where there's a lot of maps that have a lot of brush or grass where they might, like shotgun brawlers might be there to hunt you. She's not going to win those engagements where like Shelly, Bull, Primo or anything, unless they're low health. And then she takes a singular box very, very slow. Now if there's like 2 or more boxes grouped up, she tends to take them pretty quick with her bounce shots. But a lot of times that attracts, like when there's a ton of boxes in one area, that attracts like a ton of brawlers there usually. And I don't know, I feel like she's lowish enough health and doesn't deal enough damage in the showdowns, like especially at close range, where she's very good. If you get a turret, it can be good. The one downside though is like with the gas always coming and closing, her turrets a lot of times is obsolete unless you're right in the middle of the map, but that is usually dominated by a lot of power points, or not power points, the power cubes, Brawler in the mid or something. So I find it a struggle with her in Showdown, so I tend to stay away. I typically stay to gem grab and Brawl Ball. I really push up in Brawl Ball. Bounty, it's kind of like the same thing where there's so many high DPS brawlers that are good for bounty, especially at the high trophy range. Majority of the team comps you're going to see in the high trophy ranges are going to involve usually a Piper, a Brock, sometimes Penny, Leon's even in the conversation now, and just maybe even a Bow and stuff like that. And I feel like Jessie doesn't offer, like, her range isn't enough to pay on par with like a Piper or a Brock. In Heist, she can be good as well. She's kind of like, I put her in the okay tier for Heist. I just feel like Bull, Dynamite, Barley, and Colt are better options at this time, but she can be good because a lot of times the like on especially a lot of, I was gonna say bounty, a lot of the Heist maps, they do group up, and her turret, you can throw that right on the safe and the enemy are gonna have to deal with it and take care of it. And then you can also, if you have the star power, shoot the turret, heal it up, and it's gonna hit the safe as well. So with the right comp, if you want to try it on Heist, you can be precise with her shots, and like I said just before, stick to the gem grab and the Brawl Ball, I would say. So we're gonna wrap the video here. Let me know what you guys think of Jessie. Do you like her? Do you not like her? How would you rank her in your favorite brawlers and whatnot? But she was a little bit harder for me to push until I really just sat down and played her in the Brawl Ball, like one of her best modes. So thank you guys so much for watching though. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let me know which brawler you think I should do next. I think I'm close to getting a few others to 500 too, so it'll probably be one of those, and then I'll dive into the other ones that already have pushed to 500 too. So thank you guys for watching. Or I'll do this. If you guys see a brawler that you want, maybe I'll probably look back in the comments and see like the most thumbs up one too. So maybe I'll do that for the next one. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.